Hey, what's going on, guys? Want to talk about in terms of how to manage your money like millionaires, right? There's a different way that millionaires or rich people manage their money versus how poor or broke people manage their money. There's a very big difference. That's why millionaires go on to make more money and become richer, and poor just tends to remain poor or maybe become poorer. So we're going to talk base on a couple of steps that we're going to talk about. 5 steps that we're going to be talking about, to be precise. Step number one: think and act based on long-term results, not short-term, right? As humans, we are always wired for instant gratification, right? We want something quick. Um, we want something. Maybe we want a paycheck. We want to buy a car. We want to buy a computer. We want to buy watches, laptops, whatever it is. We want to have something right away, right? We want to be happy right away. But over time, what we have really taken a look at is the desire for instant gratification doesn't help us, especially if you're trying to become wealthy. It actually hurts us, right? So first thing first, you want to stop making decisions that will make you happy now, because a lot of times things that make happy now is really going to be a pain in your ass in terms of if you want to make any future wealth, right? Needs versus wants, right? There's always, so need is something you really need, you cannot live on, right? Like food, house, right? Those are really essential needs. Maybe if you have some medical problems or medicines. Wants is something that's good to have, right? So need is what you need to live on. Want is what is good to have. Something like we need a bigger house, right? Sometimes people might say. So don't confuse say we need a bigger house as hey, that's a need. That's a common mistake which most poor people make, to disguise wants as needs as a way to justify them, right? Then you feel better about making a poor financial choice. If you're wealthy, then you understand the difference between what you need and what you want, right? So know the difference between a want and need, and do not lie to yourself about it, right? It's something you cannot live on, then it's a need. It's something that you can live on, but it's an extra, right? So that's a want. Investing in automation, right? Now, depending on where you live on, there's various ways to automate investments. Something like payroll deductions, or even if you don't have payroll deductions, maybe money comes into your bank account and then it goes into some other investments automatically, right? Which is great, right? That is the key mentality of investing, right? Automatic or not, wealthy people will always believe strongly in investing because they use it as a habit. Just like if you want to go brush your teeth in the morning, that's a habit. So there's no question about how much they invest. They know how much they invest because they set goals, right? Based on how much, what they are looking to save for. Maybe it's to buy a house, retirement, boat, whatever it is. They know how much they need to save and then put in automation. So over time, it happens. They do their work. They do whatever they need to do to create that money, and based on how many years after, they have that money to actually do it, right? You're not sitting there and trying to do 100 things at one time. They do what they're good at, which is to be a millionaire. I mean, there's a reason why they became a millionaire. I mean, it's because they were good at something, right? And now for them really is to work their work and then let the money do the work. Understanding debt, right? This is which is one of the key things which most people don't understand is the debt, right? There's good debt, there's bad debt. So people always, if you are now, how do I know whether people are smart with their money or not? Is when you go and ask in terms of buying a house, buying a car, whatever big ticket item it is. The people, if poor people mentality is, what are my monthly payments? What are my weekly payments? Right? That's what poor people ask, right? I mean, if I can make the payments, sure, I want to go and buy this item, but that's the wrong question, right? The best question really is, what is this house going to cost me, right? What's the total cost? What is the cost of the car? So when you multiply the monthly payments by the number of months of the loan, what you will see the shocking number, right? You will see what you're paying towards the interest, expenses, and so on, versus what is the cost of the car. So the total cost of the car is a number you have to be comfortable with, right? If you are still comfortable with your old place or old car, you know what, that's great. But if you are looking for something new, you have to understand the total cost of the item, not in terms of how much monthly payments to do it, right? Also, you want to use debt in terms of for investment purposes, not to buy liabilities. If you buy, if you take on debt like mortgage and all, or take money out for investing in for investments, maybe stocks, mutual funds, whatever it is. Now that's good debt, right? If you talk about investing, taking out debt to buy cars, watches, bags, whatever the hell it is, that's bad debt. Next but not least is get help. I know when I talk about get help, most of the people, if people are poor, they're like, whoa, I don't, why should I get help? I know everything. Trust me, if you knew everything, you wouldn't be broke, right? There's a reason why you're broke. That's why you need help. Millionaires, top sports players, everybody needs help, right? If you talk about the greatest players, like say in basketball, LeBron James, he spends over $1 million in his coaching. He has his own chef who makes his own food. He has his coaching staff. Talk about Tiger Woods, he has different coaches for different things. Talk about Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, any sports person you talk about, all of them have great coaches, right? You need coaches, so that's why they need help. They know what you're good at, but they also want to get help from somebody else. So same thing in terms of money, know what you're good at. So if you are good in, if you're doing an engineer, you're a doctor, whatever it is, right? You want to leave the money management to a professional. Like focus on the unique value that you bring to the world to make the money, right? Don't try to do 100 things at one time. Don't be completely clueless about managing money either. So understand the basics at least well enough to know what your advisor is telling you, right? So basically, you want to go and do whatever you're good at, and leave the managing of money to somebody who's professional, whose main job is to professional. For example, you won't go and give your money to invest to a mechanic, right? Just so he doesn't know anything about it. You might want to go to a reputable financial advisor. You might want to look through it. So once again, going through the key steps on how to manage money like millionaires versus think and act based on long-term results, not short-term. Understand your needs versus wants. Putting and investing in automation. Understand debt, and last but not the least, get help. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Have a good one.